Hey everyone, I wanted to go over this problem, and this problem requires that you have command over both the budgeting chapter and the flexible budgeting chapter. Why is that? Because the first thing we have to do is go back to the original ingredients that led to the planning budget that they gave you, or the original budget or the static budget, and then use those ingredients to create the flexible budget. So here they gave you the total for these things, and they tell you that this was based on 8,000 units. So let's put the 8,000 in here. Of course, at the beginning of the year, we don't know that it's going to be 8,000 units, but that's the assumption that they decided to go with. And so we want to figure out what was that, what were they expecting the revenue per unit to be. So that's the total divided by units, because the way they got to the 16,000 was how many units do you think we're going to sell times our sales price per unit that we expect. Same thing with the variable cost. What did they expect it to be? Well, it was something times 8,000 gave them the 4,000. So to back into what it was per unit, you go backwards. You take the total and divide it by the number of units. So then you can get what they expected when they made that original budget. And you would use those same expectations because the flexible budget is just redoing that beginning budget at the activity level achieved. They thought it was 8,000, but it turns out that they sold a little bit more. So we're just going to redo the budget that they did using the ingredients, but we had to first solve for those ingredients because it wasn't given. And then we can do it the way they did it originally, which is how many units times the per unit. We're just redoing the budget, and there would be no change in fixed cost because fixed costs don't change with activity unless it happens to be a step fixed cost, which is just a very small relevant range. And so you might hit a threshold after which that fixed cost shifts. But we don't have any threshold here to double check and make sure that it's still at 5,000 for this level of activity. So they didn't ask about net income here. They want to know what the total costs were. Well, the total costs are your fixed plus your variable costs. So your total cost here would be the variable cost plus the fixed cost. Let me know if you have questions.